I did Tamara's makeup and here's the recreation of it. I got so many questions about what did I use on her, what was the foundation, what's on the eyes, and quite frankly, you know, I'm a pretty modest person, but everyone that day congratulated me for the makeup because everybody said that she looked absolutely stunning. I mean, I had a beautiful model to start with. So in today's video, I'm going to show you step by step exactly the products I was using on Tamara, minus shades when it comes to the complexion because we're completely different skin tones. Another thing that I also wanted to tell you is that I was using the exact same eyeshadow palette on her. However, because I am a completely different skin tone than hers, it just looks so different. Same with the lip. I think it looked so much lighter on her. We will discuss why colors are important and how it can completely change the whole look in today's video. Hi, I'm Andreea. I'm a celebrity makeup artist. I'm based in Paris, and here's where beauty meets taste, technique, and everything generally exceptional. I am sweating, and this is a good thing because honestly, that's exactly how it was when I did Tamara's wedding. It was so hot in Italy. I mean, obviously we had air conditioning because we were doing the preparation at the hotel, but still, you have to understand that this makeup look had to look amazing in the heat. It had to be a makeup that looked good in pictures, that she felt comfortable with wearing because she's not wearing a lot of makeup. Tamara, guys, she's wearing such little makeup. This was very challenging because of the heat, because she's not used with a lot of makeup, and had to look great in pictures. Super long lasting, right? With like minimum touch-ups, because obviously who wants to have someone being all over you doing the touch-ups on your wedding day? I am a strong believer, after 22 years of experience in the makeup world, that if the preparation of the skin before an event is very heavy, your base is not going to stay. You need to put more powder in order to take away the shine, to make the complexion product stay. I know that there are artists that love to use or like to do like a 11-step routine before a makeup look. I personally think it's unnecessary to do like a 45 minutes facial before an event. A massage definitely works and it's going to really help. So I strongly believe in the routine and the preparation of the skin that you do prior to a big event. The masks, the facials, the actives, the treatments, the lasers, everything. But in that day, usually makeup artist gets like 2 hours. If you're spending 45 minutes out of 2 hours, it's unnecessary. I love a 15 minutes, 20 minutes routine of like really getting that lymph drainage. I always like to use this product on my clients. I mean, depends on the skin type, but Tamara has, I would say, combination skin, and I always like to start with the cheeks. If I'm dealing with someone who has combination skin, I just go with the product first on the cheeks, and just whatever is left on my hands, I will apply it on the T-zone. L'Integral Anti-Age is just such a beautiful, very pleasant product to have on your skin. I'm not going to use this line for absolutely everyone, but I would say 80% of my clients will get the L'Integral Anti-Age because it's just such a good range. For the eyes, I love to use from the same range the eye cream. And when I tell you I use so little, and I mean so little. Depending on the client's eyelids, I might be applying a little bit of this moisturizer, this eye cream on the eyelids. I didn't do it for Tamara because I find that it wasn't necessary. She didn't have like dry eyelids. On the contrary, I thought that if I'm going to apply such a hydrating eye cream, I might sabotage myself with the eyeshadow. So I just use a tiny little bit under the eyes. Then I was using the L'Integral Anti-Age. As you can see, this is a very loved moisturizer. But I want you to understand I use very little. So for me, it's more important to use thin layers of products. And again, I prefer to use this moisturizer because I love the way it feels. I love the way skin looks. And then it's also allowing me to do that massage that I always do for all of my clients. And here's where I spend like, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 minutes, depends on how much time I have. But I would say max 15 minutes on like really massaging the skin, really making sure that my moisturizer is absorbed entirely. I barely use any product on the T-zone. I just use this mostly on the cheeks because I want to have that nice bouncy skin on the cheeks. When you have an oily T-zone, you don't need that much hydration on the T-zone. Spend the time on like massaging and doing that really nice lymphatic drainage. And go on the neck as well. And I always apply whatever's left. I like to apply it on the chest. The one thing that I would say it makes a huge difference, and if you can get one of the devices, the microcurrent devices, guys, if I have 10 minutes before I do the skin prep, I will do the zip. I prefer the zip out of all the devices that I have because, listen, it lifts. You can see the difference from left to right because first I do one side of the face and then I do the other side. I don't have it with me. It's in my makeup kit. If you have a chance to try the zip, it's incredible. Incredible. You see the difference right away and it's just like 5 minutes. If I start with eye makeup, then I will put on these eye patches. Now I have tons of them. I do love the Summer Fridays. Honestly, on Tamara I didn't use any because whenever I would meet her, she would just be prepared. She had her own eye masks underneath her eyes. So we just started straight with the skin. If you are oily, or if you have a client that is oily, guys, this Oil Sucker Extreme Mattifying Alkaline Primer, man, this is so good. You need a tiny little bit. Make sure that you spread it quickly wherever you need. Now, I've only used this on the nose, in between the eyebrows, and on the chin. This will immediately take that shine away. And guys, it's a shine that will not come back. A second product that I love, it's Secure the Blur, also from One Size. Both of these products are from One Size. Now, Secure the Blur is something that I like to use on the cheeks when I'm dealing with someone that has maybe enlarged pores, or I just want to have like super beautiful canvas. But again, like guys, I don't think you understand how little product I've applied, and then I just press it into the skin. Now you can see the skin is pretty matte. Now I wanted for the skin to be pretty matte, but when you touch it, it feels nice and bouncy and hydrated because of all the skin prep that I did before. If you have someone with oily skin or someone that tends to sweat, or if you're someone that has even a combination skin, but it's super oily on their T-zone, you gotta start with the matte canvas. Products that I would not use are all the glowy products, such as that Say base, such as the highlighter from the Road. I mean, those are beautiful products. Not on someone that has oily or combination skin if you're looking for very long-lasting makeup. The foundation that I was using on her wedding day is the Natural Matte Longwear Foundation. Obviously, I'm going to use a different color, but with her, I remember that I was mixing 2 shades because her body was so tanned, but because she protects her skin so well, her face was so much lighter than the body. But I mean like 5 shades. At least like 5 shades difference. And it is a challenge to try to convince someone to take the color from the body and get it on the face because she's not used with it. I cannot make you as dark as your shoulders, but I cannot leave your face as light as you want. I've convinced her. I mean, she trusted me, so that was so easy to work with her to go a little bit darker. For me, I'm going to use Vienna. I did sit in the sun a little bit, so I have a sort of a natural tan. I'm slightly darker on my arms than I am on my face. This foundation is just something else. I adore this foundation. The way this just looks on the skin, and yes, it's matte, but it's just a beautiful matte. It's a non-drying matte. It doesn't make your skin look like it died yesterday. You know what I mean? And you know what I also love about NARS foundations in general? You do not feel them. Sometimes with long-lasting foundations, it's like you have nail polish on your face. Do you guys get that feeling? I mean, look at the difference. It's just so good. So good. And foundation for me makes the biggest difference because of the melasma, because of like all the spider veins that I have on my face. Foundation is on, and because all the shadows are gone on the face, I kind of feel like I look worse. I've made a mix between the Radiant Creamy Concealer and the Soft Matte. These are always kind of like my go-to. Guys, if you see that probably 90% of my makeup looks have these two products, you would just be blown away by how much these two products can cover. And I don't mean like coverage, but like how many things you can do with them, because the colors are just so good. You could use the Radiant Creamy Concealer, and this is what I like to do. I like to use the Radiant Creamy Concealer to just erase any darkness under the eyes. Now the truth is I was not using brushes on her. I was using more like sponges. I don't have any here, and I can tell you how I like to mix these two. So first, the Radiant Creamy Concealer under the eyes, I do a super thin layer. I like to have a sponge, like a tiny sponge, that really creates and sort of like mimics the texture of the skin. The way I like to use the Soft Matte Complete Concealer, I take a smaller brush like this, and right where there is darkness, I will spot conceal. I let it sit for a little bit, and then with this product, but in different colors, I will spot conceal whatever it is. Like for example, if I want to completely sort of remove a beauty mark, or I don't know, whatever spots that might be on the skin, instead of applying more foundation, I like to start with a super thin layer of foundation, super thin layer of concealer, and then just spot conceal where I need it. On Tamara, I was using this palette in medium. On myself, I will use the one in light, and I have to tell you, I was using a very little amount of this because and here's something that you should be thinking of. Just because you see contouring, everywhere on social media does not mean that it suits you. I find that with Tamara, she has really high cheekbones, guys, naturally. Like when I did her massage, I can, you can feel the just her bone structure. She has very high cheekbones, and naturally, like a more like a heart shape face, which means that her face is very contoured already. I remember the first time when I did her makeup, I was using a little bit more obvious contour on her, and I was like, no, because she's already so contoured. It's just unnecessary. I've used a little bit of contour on the nose, a little bit, at the hairline. But the cheeks, I ended up actually having only like a tiny little bit. And that includes bronzer. I've used little to no bronzer. Like honestly, I don't think I have used bronzer on her. I've just used a little bit of this, contour palette. And that was it. With someone that already has high contrast on her face, because she's got beautiful dark eyebrows, dark hair, really long dark lashes. It's very easy to make the whole face look incredibly makeup-y with just a little bit of product. So I ended up having like Probably not even this much contour on her. I did so much blush on her, but just no bronzer because of just the way the shape of her face was. On me, I will use a little bit of contour because I feel like I look better when my skin is slightly more contoured. I just have naturally a very round structure of the face. I'm going to take a smaller brush and contour my nose. This is something that I did on Tamara. But again, if you would have seen her for real, you wouldn't have noticed any contour on her nose. Like, it was very delicate. I'm taking my concealer brush and I just go a little bit over the edges so it doesn't look too crazy. On Tamara, I was using this shade as my base for blush because she's darker than I am. This is in the shade Itsy Bitsy. So this was my base, and then I was applying higher this other color. This is an Orgasm, the regular Orgasm, not like the Lust, which I love on myself. Now, I am going to switch it up a little bit because this is too dark for me. So I'm going to use also a more peachy shade as my base. And this one is in Sex Appeal. Sex Appeal first. I always mix two shades. I just find that it's just the best when you mix something that is slightly more warm and then you come with a color that is having that pop of pink. And I kind of go with this in the W shape. Think of this as like the base, right, for the blush. I'm gonna go with Orgasm, just so you see this one is Sex Appeal, and then here's Orgasm. And I liked Orgasm on top of this because it also has that sheen to it. And this one I apply it higher and just with bouncing motions, very, very close to the eye. I just loved this blush. I just loved it so, so much. And what you see basically on her cheek underneath, guys, that's just the natural shadow of her cheekbones. I did not apply anything in there. I did powder the T-zone and under the eyes. It was absolutely necessary. It's in that heat and with an oily T-zone, you just have to. So I'm going to apply Huda Beauty. That's what I've applied on her. Basically, I've only used powder on the T-zone on her. Having the foundation that was matte really, really helped me not having to apply too much powder. It was mostly on the T-zone, so that's what I'm gonna do for myself as well. The skin looks really, with this whole combination of like matte foundation, a little bit of powder, the skin prep, the skin really looked airbrushed. The skin really, really looked airbrushed. Micellar water and clean my lips because I look crazy. And here is where my microphone decided to stop and I had no idea. I'm continuing with Brow Powder Duo. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills and it's in the shade Soft Brown. I'm using Soft Brown on myself, but believe it or not, I was using Soft Brown on Tamara as well. Tamara has naturally very dark hair in her eyebrows, so I had to think of a color that I can use that could still do corrections, but it's not too dark because, you know, it can give you that very severe look. And then Brow Freeze Gel from Anastasia Beverly Hills, because this product will hold that eyebrow in place. Here's Hindash Cosmetics. This is called Color Fluid in the shade Carve. Now, this is a great eyeshadow to be used on its own or as a base. If you have very oily eyelids, I want you to try this eyeshadow because it's very, very good. Very matte. I would have to say that if you have very dry eyelids, maybe skip this product. And then the eyeshadow palette that I was using is Laguna from NARS. And it was just so beautiful on her. And as you can see on me, it's slightly orange, and that is because I am much lighter, have much lighter skin tone than Tamara. So I started with a matte shadow, and I apply it in the crease and on the lower lash line. I think I'm using 01 brush from Refer, and I just take my time to make sure that it's really, really well blended. Oh my god, we just realized that the last few clips had no sound, so probably by now I added some voiceover because I didn't want to take away my makeup. Okay, so this palette, I've applied the eyeshadow on in the crease, but also going slightly on the sides of the nose, right? It doesn't look good on everybody, but I feel like it did look really, really beautiful on Tamara because we wanted to create that elongated eye shape without using dark eyeshadows and without using eyeliner, like the classic black eyeliner. That was a no-no. I'm going to take this eyeshadow right here, which I've applied all over the mobile lid, including the inner corner, which I know you're going to be like, what? You didn't apply any lighter shade in the inner corner? Not really. Sometimes when you apply a lighter shade in the inner corner, it just shortens the eye, and the idea was to create, like I told you, a very elongated shape. Now this looks a lot more orangey on me because of my skin tone. On Tamara it just looked a lot lighter and definitely not orange. Like if there's one thing I can tell you is that it didn't look orange, but that is the beauty of makeup. It looks so much different depending on who's wearing. Only on the middle of the eyelid I was using this eyeshadow, which is more like a glittery one, so you want to press it. You want to use your fingers to apply this. And I made sure I didn't apply too much because I didn't want to have a super glittery eyelid. I just wanted to have something that is nice and looks more like glossy than glittery. Now at the base of the lashes, it made so much sense to apply black on her because of her colors. On me, I know it's gonna look a lot more obvious, but it just made sense for her skin tone. And then what I did is just take a brush and smudge it. And this was very, very thin, almost like an eyeliner, but then I'll show you what I did. With the brush, took a little bit and applied on the inner corner as well. Again, for that elongated, very beautiful, very structured eye look. Very beautiful, very structured shape. Now with a brush, I took back from the palette the darker shimmery shade and apply it on top of the black. So it's just a little bit softer, you know? If it was someone that had more like my colors, I would have probably used brown. I don't know if you can tell what I did with the eyes here, but instead of applying something dark all around, like everywhere at the base of the eyes, basically I've only started here where my pupil ends, right? And that's what I did on her. Where the pupil ends, that's where I started to apply the darker, basically the black eyeliner. And then winged it, but ever so slightly. And then I also applied it in the inner corner, leaving the center of the eyelid open. Now what that does, it creates that elongated shape. Now on her, I was applying lashes. I did the Lashify system. There's no way you're gonna find me with lashes. It's not that I hate them, it's just that I just feel like it completely changes my face. So I'm not gonna do lashes. But just so you know, I did apply mascara, and this is the mascara that I was using. However, I'm not even sure that I can show you this product because this mascara is not out yet. But I liked it so much because it's so natural. The bristles are very airy. Like it's, I don't know if you can see, but this brush is just like the perfect brush to apply mascara if you have lashes on, because it's not too dense, so it's not going to pull the lashes away. So on me, I'm only going to apply mascara. And I like a more natural one because I love to be able to see the work that I've done on my eyelids. At the trial that I had with Tamara, I introduced her to this lip liner. This is from Satin Morocco, just your classic lip liner. And she was like, what is this lip liner? And I told her, and she's like, oh my God, let's make sure that we have this for the wedding. I did not know that NARS has such good shades for the lip liner, but they really do. This looks so dark on me. It did not look this orange. Guys, I have it in the video. We did so many videos. I have it in the video. This is exactly what I was using on her. You just need to trust me. You know what I'm gonna do? And this is what I did on her as well. I'm going to apply some powder, and that's going to tone it down a bit, because this is way too orange and way too intense for me. But that goes to show you how important is your skin tone. You know, a lot of times people are like, if my eyes are this color, what do you recommend? It is not your eyes, darling. It's not the eye. It is not your hair. It's your skin. Okay, we're a little bit better. And then the lipstick, because I wanted her to be super comfortable and to have products that she can reapply herself when I was not there, although I was there all the time. I know that she loves this lipstick, so I'm like, let me do something that you're familiar with and that you know how to apply yourself in case you need it. So this is, gorgeous. This is NARS in Adulterous. That is the name of the lipstick. And then on top, we did Turkish Delight, which is something that I use all the time. It's the most gorgeous gloss. If you have a bride, if you're a makeup artist, Turkish Delight is so beautiful. Guys, it's really bothering me, the fact that the eyeshadow is so warm and so orange. So I took a little bit of powder and I just tried to make it less warm on me. Maybe next time when I recreate a look, I shouldn't be using exactly the shades. What do you guys want for the next time? Should I use the exact shades so you have an idea what it would look like on me? Or should I adapt the shades so it looks exactly like what I did on the model? I'm very curious. One of the reasons why I don't do this more often is because then people are like, did you really use this palette? Yes, I was. Or like, did you really use this lipstick? Yes, I was. On Tamara, I didn't do this next step, but I'm going to do it on me because I just like when the contour of my top lip is slightly blurred. So I just took a small brush and contour, just adding a little bit of contrast here. I don't know how much you can tell, but now there's a little bit of a shadow on top. With Tamara, I didn't need to do that because just the way of her lip shape is, but I find that with my shape, it just looks more realistic when it's overlined and it has this little bit of a shadow on top of the Cupid's bow. Now we're getting back to the skin, and I was using this light reflecting luminizing blush, and this is in True Faith. And the truth is, I haven't used this as a blush. I've used this more like my finishing powder, because it looks like this. It's just so beautiful. And I basically loaded my brush with this product and then just went on the cheeks, above the eyebrow, a little bit on the nose. I really went in with this product. It adds a little bit of color for sure, but what I was interested in this product was to give me that beautiful skin-like finish, because with all the matte product, I just needed more life to the skin. So I didn't apply just on the highest points of the cheeks. I've applied this on almost like the whole cheek, right? To give me that roundness. Last product that I was using, this Until Dawn, but I was using the waterproof version because I was so afraid of the sweat. I was so afraid of tears that I was like, I have to secure my makeup in place with a waterproof version. I am not going to use that one on me because it's not necessary, but this is truly what I was using on Tamara, the waterproof version. So, whew! Now this makeup is secured, let me tell you that. Okay guys, and this is the final look. This is what I was using on Tamara on her wedding day. Now there were 2 other looks that I've created on her. I did a look for her welcoming party and another look for the brunch for the after, like the after wedding, where she was wearing this beautiful, beautiful dress with like lower shoulders. I loved that look. And she had like really beautiful headpiece. That, just so you understand, those, when you see those images online, those are completely different looks. But this is what she was wearing on her wedding day. And this is probably the most requested look out of all of them. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for requesting this look. This is very fun to do, especially because I did it before, so it was really easy. As usual, everything I've mentioned is in the description down below. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. You know I'm on top of my comments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.